Now, Meghan has shared some pictures of Archie and Lilibet. I say shared some pictures. We don't get to see their faces. We get to see the back of their heads, and I think this is promote a little bit more of a Netflix show. Does anyone have a? There's been some criticism about Meghan sharing pictures of her children. Is it fair criticism? Where do we stand on Meghan's use of these photos?
I mean, it always comes up whenever she posts pictures of the children, and this idea that's presented is that she wanted to have a life away from the spotlight, but to my mind, what they really wanted was control. They wanted control over what they put out, what they did. They wanted to turn their own money. They wanted to have nothing but their own opinions to influence what they shared about their children. And that's what they've got. And this, to me, is entirely a reflection of that. She's taken this stance where she doesn't show their faces. She shows the backs of their heads, where she blurs their faces or puts whatever, like a lot of people do, a picture in front. And that's what she's decided to do. And I think, that is everyone's prerogative as a parent. And it was always about control. It was always about control. I think while there is always going to be this thing with them, because these accusations of cashing in on the royals are always going to be there because they have the profiles that they have because of the royal family. But there's not really anything they can do about that. And I think if they're not talking about the royal family or overtly promoting royalness in what they're doing, there is a point where you have to say, just let them get on with it and do their thing and take their position about how they want to present themselves.
I'm pretty sure Beatrice and Eugenie do the same.
Yeah,
I don't think they show pictures of the children's faces.
But that's slightly different in as much as they're not in frontline royals as such. I mean, I've got no problems at all with them protecting their children's identities and everything else. I think it's pointless having them on the screen with little grey hearts cut out to cover their faces, or just the back of their heads. I just don't see the point. Do I care that much? No, not really. No,
I'm fascinated to one day learn more about Archie and Lily. You know what I mean? So we don't know much about them, but do we have a right to know about them? They're literally a private family, earning their own money, living in California. So it's up to the Sussexes to decide what.
It is up to it's up to mum and dad to decide when they, if you like, come out into the public arena. I mean, I'm sure that at some stage we will see their faces. Because as far as I can remember, the only actually thing we've seen of Archie was a toe or something, or a foot.
Pictures,
at the birth. But
I think it's interesting, Meghan's Instagram in general, because obviously she's gone back on Instagram. She's using this platform now, and there's this sense of sort of keeping the platform active. But I mean, it makes me smile because I have this sort of thing with my Instagram as well, where I'm like, I should be posting more, I should be doing this. And it feels a bit like she hasn't quite got a cohesive approach to it yet, in terms of, like, sometimes it's these professional shots from the show, promotional videos. Other times, it's like, one time it was this incredibly revealing behind the scenes video, and then another time it's like Harry surfing, and then it's these it does, like, her Instagram is quite inconsistent, but then a lot of people's Instagrams are inconsistent, mine included.
I might be wrong, but I think the photograph, or one of the photographs we saw, I think that the children were actually on the set for With Love Meghan.
Yeah.
That's the picture we're talking about.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't avidly watch her Instagram page.
I find it hard to believe.
I don't always watch it, but that's what I believe the photo was. What kind of message do you think that sends out to both, to the British public and to Harry and to the King, if he was over here for 4 or 5 days and they didn't meet?
But the rift is still on. I mean, there is no sign of the rift, ending. And I still maintain you still need to have. For an end to the rift, you still need to have the input of William and Meghan. Okay. For me, there's no question about that.
I think for the end to the rift as a whole.
Sure.
But I think that maybe is a bit unrealistic, and I think the William and Harry reconciling is much, much more unlikely. And I think it can be the case that Charles meets with his son without it having to mean anything for William and Harry's relationship. If they don't meet, I think it would send that message that, I think it probably, for me, it would make me feel that things were worse than I thought they were, actually.
Well, I'm different to you, and I think they're already as bad as they can be. I just can't see. I mean, you're going to have them both sitting in a room, is someone going to open up and say, I'm really sorry for everything that I've done? Whoever, it doesn't matter whether it's the King says it or whether it's Harry that says it. I mean, although I think Harry's got a lot more to apologise for than the King. So you start off in that vein, and then where do you go after that? I mean, Harry's still upset about his security. He still thinks that the King can have a say in the committee that makes these decisions, although they have a royal representative on that committee. I just don't think that there's any point or any way there can be a reconciliation.
Well, I think you're right. The first thing Harry has to do if he sits down with his father is say sorry.
Sure.
And then he asks about his health, surely, and asks,
I'm
concerned about you, because at the heart of this is a very complicated father and son relationship.
Yep.
It's not for all us to peer in through the window and marvel at. This is actually quite a heartbreaking situation between father and son.
But the father's illness, the cancer, may be, if it does happen, may be the one thing that you can break the ice with, where he would sort of ask, how you doing? How's things? How's the battle going? Mm-hmm. But you still got to get down to the nitty-gritty of everything that's been said, the allegations of racism.
I kind of feel that they can meet without having to have everything out. And I think that what Harry said in May made me feel that is now where he sees it as being, where previously he was sort of suggesting that he wanted to have all these conversations if they were going to have a relationship, whereas now I feel like there is, and that is families, you know, there's often a lot of stuff that does go on set, and I think you can have a meeting and you can see each other and speak about some things without having to go over everything. I think that's possible.
If I accept that, I don't entirely, but if I accept that, you've still got to do with the fact that the King's going to say, how are the grandchildren? How's Meghan? Am I ever going to see them again? You know, I mean, that is still, a thorny subject. You cannot have a reconciliation with just Harry alone. He's got a family in America, and that family, that part of that family, or the Meghan part of that family, has made it clear of her points that she has against the royal family and Britain. You know, her relationship with Britain is destroyed.
It's a strong argument, Charles. It's something that I've not really. I thought it's easier when it's just Harry, but it's a strong argument because there are many moving parts and people involved in this.
I just think they can have this initial meeting. They can have this first step. Yeah. But whether or not they will, I mean, you know, how long is Harry here for? We don't know. And his only thing that he is doing that we know of, the only thing he's doing publicly is obviously the Wild Child Awards on Monday. So I think it's going to be just.
But didn't I read somewhere that he was possibly going to pay homage at St George's Chapel?
Well, it's possible. He's done it in the past because it's the same. The meeting is the Wild Child is the same day as the anniversary of her death. He has been there in the past, and if it is, that would be a deeply private, personal thing for Harry.
And it's right that he should do it in any case. Yeah. But whether he does or not,